This video is brought to you by Your Company Mobiles. For all of your business, landline and mobile phone requirements, check them out at yourcompanymobiles.com.
What's up YouTube, Adam here, and in this video I'm going to be bringing you my unboxing and also my first impressions of this, the brand new iPad Air 2 from Apple. Now, not really many changes in regards to the iPad Air from the previous generation, other than a few things. The first one, and you'll notice it on the front of the box, and I'm so pleased that Apple have decided to keep the typical iPad packaging and not change it over to that horrible iPhone 6 packaging. But you'll see one of those first changes, and that is that they have brought out the gold version, which I'm very, very happy with indeed. Now, we'll come back to some of the changes a little bit later on, but this one is the 128GB Wi-Fi version. Didn't opt for the cellular this time. All of my previous generations have been, but now with the new kind of hotspot stuff in iOS 8, it just didn't seem like there was any point. So save a bit of money on the monthly cost of the data package for the SIM, and also on the actual iPad itself. The iPad prices, I think, are pretty much the same as last year's model. So, like I say, this is the gold 128GB version. Very, very excited. On the front there, you can see it looks extremely thin, and I'm guessing that is a life-size print there on the front. Now, also, I decided to get ripped off and go out and buy a brand new iPad Mini 3 as well. Now, as you guys know, there have been only two changes between this and the previous generation, the iPad Mini 2. The first one, Touch ID. Now, me personally, I am one of those people that on the previous generation, every time I turned the iPad on, I'd hold my thumb or my finger on the home button, expecting it to turn on, and nothing happened. So Touch ID for me is not worth the money, but it's definitely worth some money, because I looked like a complete idiot before holding my finger on that home button and nothing happened. Now, the other addition to the iPad Mini 3 is that they've got the brand new gold colour, which is great. So for someone like me who's got major OCD and likes to have everything matching and all in the same colour, that is a huge, huge bonus. If you've got an iPad Mini 2 and you're wondering whether to upgrade to the iPad Mini 3, unless you want one of those two things, don't bother, because the internals and the externals are absolutely identical over last year's model, which is very, very disappointing, to be honest, from Apple. Anyway, that's the iPad Mini 3. We'll take a little bit of a look at that maybe a little bit later on in the video. First up, the iPad Air 2. Let's go ahead and take a look at the actual iPad Air 2 itself. And usual packaging, straight away, just sits directly on the top of the box there. Normally I hold it up like that and it all falls out all over the floor, and you guys laugh at me, but this time we have done it correctly, and oh my word, immediately you can notice it is significantly lighter and thinner than the last version, even with this wrapping on. And in fact, let's take that wrapping off. You can definitely tell that is a different, it feels almost like it's not real. It's so thin, wafer thin. That is insane. That really does feel incredibly thin. Now, another difference that they've made on the iPad Air 2, and in fact I can notice it straight away there, is they've removed the air gap between the glass and the LCD. So you get that feeling like the LCD screen, like you're almost touching it directly rather than going through glass first. And you can definitely tell that has made an improvement to the screen itself. They've had that for a while now on the iPhone, and on the latest generation, the iPhone 6, the screen really does feel like it's very, very close to you, and you feel like you're touching that LCD directly, and this is now exactly the same. But wow, honestly, that really does feel significantly thinner. I know it's probably only a certain percent that's not very big. I can't remember the figure, 16% is it, or 20%, something like that. But when you hold it, especially when the screen's on, it kind of feels, I don't know, like it's not real. It just feels a bit unbelievable, really, to be honest. Anyway, that is the iPad Air 2. You can see I've opted for the gold colour. Now, there was some discussion that the gold on the iPad, oops, I nearly dropped the box there. The gold on the iPad would be a little bit different to the gold on the iPhone, but as you can tell, they're actually exactly the same. Now, this has got a little Spigen case on, a see-through case on, and in fact, if you want me to do a video on that, go ahead and hit the like button, and I'll do a video on that case, because a lot of people have been asking me. So, very, very much the same colour as the iPhone 6 in terms of the gold, and it doesn't look too bold either. It doesn't look ridiculous in any way, I don't think. It's quite kind of tame, and we've also got that brand new 8 megapixel camera as well there on the top. But first impressions, the thinness and the lightness is definitely the most overwhelming sort of aspect of that brand new iPad Air 2, and I'm very, very excited to start trying it out and using it. That's just so thin, it's phenomenal. Anyway, I'm probably harping on a little bit too much about that, but the next thing, what do we get in the box? I don't normally like to go through this because it's pretty boring, but a lot of people like to see. We get the 2 amp iPad charger, which is great for charging your iPhone as well. Charges it a lot quicker because of that double output in terms of ampage. We get this getting started guide and the warranty, and also the Apple stickers as well. And then we get the lightning cable in there. I don't know about you guys as well, but I've been having huge problems with the lightning cables recently. Failing. They get that kind of issue where the bit that connects to the lightning connector itself becomes disconnected. I think where you bend it quite a lot. But I did go back to Apple a couple of days ago with 2 of my cables, and they replaced them immediately free of charge. So if you do have that problem, don't go out and buy new ones. Take them back to Apple and they will replace them for you. Now, next up, rip-off product of the year. That is the iPad Mini 3. So let's take a look at this as well. It's not really going to be very much to show. There you go. That's how it's presented in the box, same as the other one. Let's take it out and just show you the gold colour. There we go. So you can see that nice gold colour. And the packaging, in terms of everything else, is exactly the same as the iPad Air 2. Now let's just take off the wrapping here off of this one, so you guys can see the gold in a little bit more of its full glory, and compare it to the iPad Air 2 just to see if they're the same, and you can see they are absolutely identical. So no difference on those whatsoever. It almost feels like the iPad Mini 3 is heavier than the iPad Air 2. That can't be the case, but it does feel that way. Maybe just because it's smaller, I guess. It is most definitely thicker, that is for sure. I'll do some close-ups of that. And yeah, that's the 2 brand new iPads. This one, pretty boring, Touch ID and the gold colour. This one, incredibly fast processor. I saw the Geekbench this morning comparing it to the Tegra K1, and it blows it away. Also that new 8 megapixel camera on the back, the gold colour, and also the Touch ID. So very, very pleased with the iPad Air 2. I think they could have done a bit more with iOS 8 to make it do some kind of multitasking, or just, I don't know, just use it a little bit more of a powerful way. But maybe we'll see that with the iPad Pro next year. We'll have to wait and see. Anyway guys, thank you as usual very much for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please do go ahead and hit that like button, share it out amongst your friends, and I will see you all in the next one. See ya.
This video was sponsored by Your Company Mobiles, providing SMEs throughout the UK with mobile, landline and converged solutions. Visit www.yourcompanymobiles.com or call 0800 038 5363.